doing today is I'm taking my door panel off on my F150. This is a 2013. Should be good for, I'm thinking, 8 to 14 anyway. Might be similar on some of the newer ones. I've got a problem with one of the door speakers, so I'm going to put some upgraded ones. So there's our door panel there, and it's hooked on with a few different things. Behind this cover, there should be some kind of a bolt. Behind here somewhere, there should be a cover, another little bolt. This one doesn't have a clip behind here, but there will be little fingers holding it down. We'll show you how they work. And on the very bottom, I think there's a couple screws. Yeah, it feels like there's one there. I'll show you a better shot of them later. And one here, and they're actually a bolt head as well. So you actually need a little socket set for that. And they're using like 3 different size bolts on these. So we're going to start off first with, looks like a 6mm. So let's get our 6mm bolt. And we're going to undo the bottom of the doors here. So, sorry I didn't get a good shot of those coming off, but you know, let's take 2 bolts off. Now, behind here, there's a cover. And we're going to want to take it out. And if you look right there, there's kind of a square hole. You want to take like a little pick tool or something and get it behind there and give it a good tug. It should pop out like that. And then just move it out of the way. It's got a bunch of little fingers on it that are holding it in. There's a couple, one on the bottom, one on the edge, one on the top. Like I say, if you can clip where I had the pick tool there, it'll pop out and then these fingers should release. So good enough. Now we got a little bolt behind here and it's a different size. It's an 8mm, this one. I'm going to take this one off. It's good to remember it's kind of a chrome color, like a shiny looking bolt compared to the next one we're going to look at. And it's kind of a long bolt too. Like it's pretty long. There you go. It's a fine thread. There we go. Good. Now, there's this trim piece we can take off next with a flat screwdriver. You'll see there's an indentation on one side. If you can just kind of get in there a little bit and start prying. Be careful though, because there's a little finger behind that. But I see somebody else has already broken off at one time. We'll take this out just gently. As like you say, there's probably 6 fingers holding this in, little tabs. Somebody's already broken one. You see those bigger ones on the top and bottom, and there's one on the left here. And the one on the right, it looks like it's missing already, but it'll still hold in. Once that's out, it exposes your bolt. We see it's an 8mm bolt. Got an extension on it just because it's a little ways down there. Not as long a bolt. Not a shiny bolt either. We'll keep that in mind. It's got kind of like a big washer on it that's, it won't fall off. It's just part of the whole thing. Might need a magnet to pull it out. Then we're going to grab on the door panel and just pull straight up the whole thing. And it should pop out. It's just held in with some little fingers on the back. Now, it's still hanging on by some speaker wires and some other things, including your interior door handle. So this is the cable that handle actuates to open your latch on the door. So I'm just going to try and grab the cable here and extend it out and pull up at the same time, and there we got it out. A little bit of fiddling sometimes. Be easier if you're not trying to record and have lighting and other things. Now these have little tabs. If you can push them down together and then push it out. I think there's 4 of them, so you might have to work around it a little bit. Should just pop out. And then there's a little slit there that should just let everything come out. Now, while I turn the door panel around so I can access the connectors to the switches, maybe can you give me the thumbs up? Just then YouTube knows I'm doing a good job. Hopefully this is helping you out. So if we take a look at the other side here, this is what it looks like kind of from the bottom. And these wires, they're just long enough, barely. They've got little tabs that we're going to want to squeeze. It's going to be hard to see, but on the front side, the little tabs. If you can squeeze it and then pull them. I can't get my camera near any closer. One side has a tab, so you just squeeze it and rock the whole connector and it should pop out. Same with both of them. They're two different connectors. One has got more pins in it, so when you put them back in, you can't accidentally put the wrong one in there. It's just got that little piece there that moves and flexes and unlocks it. Now we get rid of the door panel, put it somewhere safe, and we'll get to the speaker. Now the speaker uses a different size little bolt. These are 5.5 millimeters. Love how they're just different size, different. Oh well, they must have had a deal on different size bolts. Try and get these out. You know how to get them out. That's what they look like. They're fairly long again. We'll fast forward, get all four of them out. I don't know why they couldn't have used all the same sizes, but or at least the same size as the bolts that we're holding the door panel at the bottom in with. Speaker should just come out, and then we can unhook it. It's got a connector on it, way almost inside the door panel. We'll try and get you closer. Again, squeeze, and rock it and pull, and it should come out. There we go. Guess if you want, you could try and get another factory speaker. These aren't the greatest speakers. They seem to have an issue where they don't last very long. This is the cables that came with my new speakers. But what I did is I ordered a special kit because I would have to cut these wires, and I don't want to do that. So that's what it came with. That would clip onto the speaker, but this is what I bought. They weren't very much money. It's got the right connector, and then some clips to put on the speaker. So make a nice neat connection in case I need to take them off later. Can unhook it. And these are my new speakers. I think the brand is Kicker. I'll put a link in the description. I don't know how good they're going to sound. It's had a pretty good spec for frequency response. But of course, they're only going to be so good because they're little speakers. Subwoofer would probably help a lot.
Not easy, huh?
And the stereo, I don't really know. It's the factory stereo, so I don't imagine I'm going to get super crazy sound out of it. But maybe it'll help a little bit. Well, and this one wasn't working at all. I was having trouble getting this connector on there. There we go. Yeah. Now just click these two together. They only go on one way. It should click. If I can do it. There we go. Tuck it inside the door. And put our little bolts back in. Tuck the wires in. Make sure that nothing's touching anything. And this was the 5.5 millimeter bolt or socket that I'm using again. Just in case you've set it down and you're not sure what you were using. Just hold it down, tighten them up. You know how this works. And after we do that, I'm going to just want to make sure that it's working. Give a little test. Yeah. Looks like everything is working. Now we have to still put our switches, power door locks and the power window switches, hook them back up. So I'm going to try and get that in. You're going to have to do it by feel. They only go in one way. Remember that one has only a few pins. It's not as big. The other one is bigger. So you can't mix them up. I'm sure you'll be able to get your head in here a little more than with me with the camera and the lights and a stand holding it. But self-explanatory, I would say. This wiring harness was supposed to be on this little white clip here. I'm going to see it. Probably will be okay without it, but you might want to try and tape it back up there. Now, I've hooked the door into the bottom, into the holes are just in the door panel stays on while I try and put this back in. It should just slip in. So I'm going to put the wire. I'm actually going to try and put it in the hole first. There we go. And then pull it as hard as I can through the slot. There we go. And then push it through the hole and it should snap. And it's on. This little ridge now is going to fit. That's on top of the door panel, and that little ridge there on this part of this window sweep rubber piece And we're also going to have our door lock, little button there that goes up and down. It's going to have to go in the hole, and that's going to be the tricky part. Lining everything up. You have to kind of hold the whole door panel against the door evenly and try and line up that little lock, and then slide the whole thing down together. You'll know if it's going in right or not once you'll be able to feel it. If some of those fingers don't slip in their little holes there, you'll know, and you'll have to just slide the whole door panel up slowly again and back down. And the hardest part I found was lining up this lock. I can't even think what this little rod is that's called. Once it does go in there, I'm going to just try and double check, make sure it's going up and down. Using the electric locks. Make sure, yeah, I can see it going up and down. Good. I think we are good. Now we just have to put all our bolts and nuts and screws back in. Again, just double checking the lock. Okay, so let's get our nuts and bolts and put them back in. I'll get you closer. If you'd like more videos on the F-150, I've got a repair playlist. The card's on the top right-hand corner. You can click on that. Now, if you remember this gray colored one with the big washer on it, that's the one. And what is that again? 8mm. That goes in here where your door grab is. You want to have some kind of extension. I'm just going to put it on just not even snug. It's a little bit longer, so get it down there a little bit. Just because we might have to move the door panel a little bit left and right. And this is what I was kind of worried about, these little bolts that go down in here. So maybe we'll put them on first, because everything else I think is lining up. You may have to slide the door panel back and forth a little bit to make those holes so you can see them. This is a 6mm. Like I say, get those in there. You may want to either, it's up to you. You can tighten that one up right now or just have it snug. Put this one in. Then make sure once everything's lined up, you're good. You have to push the door panel down a little bit so the hole is exposed. Get that guy in there. Again, it'll be a lot easier if you're not holding lights and a camera in one hand and bolts and tools in the other hand. Now that we've got those on there, we can go back up and we've got our door handle. This is that chrome looking one with a built-in washer on it. It's a little smaller. It's a long bolt. 8mm. Get that guy back in there. Hopefully you haven't lost any of these. Now we put this cover back on. If you can tuck that piece in that we pulled out first, tuck it towards the back. Either way, it's going to clip in once you can get it aligned properly. Yeah. Nice. And that looks good. And we've got our clip here. Put that down, and we're done.